On this episode of the Turnbuckle, Kofi Kingston confirms his leg injury, Christopher Daniels calls alternative wrestling options to WWE a necessity, and MJF and Tony Khan discussed a water incident involving a young fan at Revolution. Folks, reading your favorite wrestling move for some wrestling news because it's time for the Turnbuckle. Kofi Kingston doesn't seem too worried about the injury he suffered on SmackDown. The former WWE champion was involved in an angle on Friday's show that involved several wrestlers expressing interest in facing Gunther at WrestleMania. During the segment, Drew McIntyre did a dive to the outside and laid it on top of Kingston, which may have been where the injury took place. Kingston posted a video to social media on Sunday of him lounging by a pool with his right foot and ankle bandaged up. Kingston is scheduled for a 5-way match on SmackDown next week, with the winner earning a title shot against Gunther at WrestleMania 39. His injury was addressed by our own Dave Meltzer and Brian Alvarez on Sunday's edition of Wrestling Observer Radio. Meltzer said if he has surgery, which from what I understand they're hopeful of avoiding, if he has surgery, obviously it's going to be a while. If he doesn't have surgery, it will be less time. Meltzer continued to speculate on if Kingston will miss next week's show and possibly WrestleMania as well. Kingston will probably not be, almost assuredly will not be in that match on SmackDown next week. If he can be ready for WrestleMania, I don't want to say 100% no, but it'll be touch and go if he can make it for WrestleMania. If he doesn't get surgery, like I said, he's hopeful he was not going to get surgery, so it's going to be time off, but perhaps not that much time off. This is one of those things that you see happen in real time, and you don't even think about it until the article like this comes out, and then you go, oh no, because this is the same thing that happened with CM Punk when he got his knee injury because he jumped into the crowd. So when this happened, and then somebody on Reddit was like, yeah, Kofi caught all of that, and he did. When Drew dove out, Kofi was I hate seeing that spot when someone jumps and like someone isn't in the right position in time, so they have to run to get into position, but then because they're not in position, they have to run and then immediately fall as they're coming down, like, so it all has to be timed like super well, and I think that could potentially be why his leg got taken out. So very unfortunate to hear. Whatever it is, it sounds like surgery is an option, or they cannot do surgery, and he said it's going to be less time, which I feel like surgery would speed it up, but it wouldn't, would it? Because you got to get all up in there, and then you got to fix it, and then the doctors are going to be like, well, don't walk on it, and then if you are going to walk on it, don't put a lot of pressure on it, you know, the game shape and the competitive shape and all that blah blah blah. So that's what Kofi's pretty much doing right now. Hopefully he makes a speedy recovery, and it doesn't really seem like he's going to be at the Intercontinental contender match, and with that being said, it doesn't really seem like he's going to be at WrestleMania either, which really stinks. So I think what they probably should do is put Xavier in there, but listen, I'm not them. I don't know what they're going to do, so we're just going to have to wait and see what actually ends up happening. Next, we're going to talk about Christopher Daniels and how he calls alternative wrestling options to WWE a necessity. TNA, Ring of Honor, and AEW veteran Christopher Daniels weighed in on the subject during a recent interview with PW Mania, calling it a necessity that WWE has another promotion pushing its boundaries. With my history coming up through the indies and doing as much as I did with Ring of Honor and TNA back in the day, I understand the necessity for an alternative to WWE, Daniels said. I'm a fan of a lot of guys in the WWE. There's stuff I like and stuff I don't. To give fans that option enriches their experience in professional wrestling as a whole. There have always been other promotions outside WWE, of course, despite the fact that Vince McMahon's company rose to the top by swallowing up its rivals, culminating when McMahon announced that he had bought WCW in 2001. But hardcore fans have more access to alternatives since the rise of streaming, which has kickstarted interest in what's available outside WWE. Now they can watch the wrestlers that they like, whether it's in WWE, AEW, Impact, or New Japan, said Daniels, who also spoke about the upcoming debut of Ring of Honor's new weekly show streaming on the Honor Club service. Having those options enriches the experience of professional wrestling. Getting to pick your favorites and thinking about what if this guy could wrestle this guy is a lot of fun, especially if you're a real wrestling fan. I feel like every week I have to talk about this at least once. The glory that is the multitudes of wrestling avenues and options and what have you. And how for me back in the day, because, you know, I was very close to being a wrestler, but then I had that accident back in 09. You know, and did me knee in, so gotta give me knee now, can't do anything. Anyway, streaming services are starting to become a thing, but that's been new. That's not news. That's been a thing for years and years and years. It's just wrestling is just like, not just now, obviously, but I'm saying wrestling has now become a part of that avenue now, and you know, that's even more and more exposure, because you know, you got streaming services that are like, oh, we can do this one in Zimbabwe and this one's in like, France. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a bunch of different avenues and stuff. So yes, I would 100% agree with Christopher Daniels. I would say that multiple wrestling options are definitely a necessity. And man, if you're thinking about being a wrestler, you don't have to think about just specifically one place, or you could and then change your mind, because that's something that you're able to do, because that's the world that we live in right now, baby. Okay, we're living fancy free, young and wild. All right, I'm having a great time. Finally, MJF and Tony Khan discussed the water incident involving a young fan at Revolution. 5 minutes into the show's main event with Bryan Danielson, the AEW World Champion went behind the barricade, grabbed a fan's glass of water, and dumped it on her son ringside. Despite many believing the spot was planned, Fightful Sean Ross Sapp claims MJF did actually go rogue, stating that the kid was not a play at ringside and was very upset with the incident. The situation prompted AEW talent to have a talk with the mother and son, along with Amanda Huber, the wife of the late Brody Lee, who sat next to the child ringside. Speaking on the situation during the post-show media scrum, MJF, in typical fashion, stated that the kid looked thirsty, seemingly showing no remorse. Sitting beside him, AEW CEO Tony Khan made sure to emphasize how seriously he, MJF, and the company took the situation, revealing that the child will be attending this Wednesday's AEW Dynamite in Sacramento. We had a conversation before MJF and I came up here. We had a serious conversation, and it's not to be taken lightly, Khan said. The young man, Titus, was a real pro about it, and we'll see Titus here again in AEW. I was just with him, and he was a real champ about it, and the champion didn't act like a champion there. I think Titus was great. MJF closed the conversation about the situation by calling the child the salt of the earth, joking that he's, quote, real worried about him. Unfortunately, this isn't MJF's first time having issues with fans. The current AEW world title holder had a beer thrown at him at Full Gear in 2019. This isn't news. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you this right now. This is not news. I wanted to talk about this because that kid is being a little... This is my show. He's being a bitch. That kid is being a little bitch. MJF climbs the barricade, he's walking, you know he's gonna do something, he's walking around, takes the ladies' cup, right, because he took it from a person and like threw it on the guy, so he takes the ladies' cup, he looks at the kid, I swear to you, MJF looks at the kid, I'm not making, and goes like that, the water barely gets on the kid, the water gets maybe his pants. Maybe because of the way that his hoodie was looking, it looked like his hoodie was more over his pants than his So he gets it on his hoodie and his pants. Kid doesn't move. Boom, before you think about it, camera's already back on MJF. Kid's upset. If it was me, bow, all over you. Pick him up, throw him. I can't swear. It's my show, but I don't want to be demonetized. I want you to know that kid would have gotten annihilated by me. I would have destroyed him. By the ankle. What are you doing here? You little, give me this. Because he had a little kid AEW replica belt. Oh, give me that. It's mine now. It's mine. What are you talking about? What are you going to do about it, you little snot-nosed asshole? Put him down in the chair upside down. Give me this. I'm rubbing my butt on it. Boom. What are you talking about? He got upset. And now he gets to go to a free What? Do your homework. Hold on a second. Do your homework first. Because I know you got like a C in math. All right. And I know you still haven't finished that worksheet that you brought home the other day. I don't know what I'm talking about. The kid is fine. I'm angry that he gets to go to a show because he got a little bit of water on him. What? The hoodie would have dried by the time the show was over. This kid, man. Because he got water. Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm damp. Oh my god. What do we talk about? Kofi Kingston confirms his leg injury. I kind of saw that coming when that happened. It's really unfortunate that it happened. And you know what? This potentially means that we're not going to have Kofi Mania. And this also potentially means, listen. Never say never. Kofi could be in that match. Kofi could be in Mania. He could win. You know what I'm saying? We don't actually know. So I don't really think that it's fair to sit here and be like, oh, just write him off. That's it. He's dead. No more. You know what I'm saying? So we are going to actually have to wait and see what the injury is looking like and what Kofi's going to do about it and everything, you know. Christopher Daniels calls alternate wrestling options a necessity. He's 100% right. You need different places to go, and eventually you're going to get sick of the place that you're at, okay? And listen, you don't want your company to be like WWE, where you've just got so many people that you don't know what to do with them. You're literally just hoarding all of the wrestlers because you don't want them to go anywhere else. That's not conducive to your business and just how to treat wrestlers like in general, you know what I mean? So maybe having alternative options is, potentially a good thing. And MJF he didn't even throw water. He didn't even throw it. He lobbed it. He moved the cup so that the water inside of the cup would not be inside it. He didn't throw the cup at him. He just went like that because he knew that the water would come out. He felt the weight of the cup, so he knew how much oomph to give it to the kid. He didn't find another cup. I'm so angry about this because nothing happened. We shouldn't even be talking about this. This kid is getting the treatment as though MJF threw him into the ring and hit him with barbed wire. Man. Anyway, man, kids are great. All right, the future generation, whatever. Some of them, all right, assholes. Anyway, boys, that's going to do it for this episode. Hopefully everybody has a wonderful tonight and a wonderful tomorrow. And as always, big hugs all around.